All right, so we're going to be looking at a 97 Ford Ranger AC compressor's not working on. I don't remember your username, so I apologize for that, but I'll be sending you the link, so at least you'll have the video. Um, Plank AC compressor's not working. This is going to be the way I would diagnose it. Other people may do it differently. That's fine, whatever. But for this, the tools you're going to need will be a test light. I prefer an old school test light with an actual bulb in it. That way we can put a load on the circuit and verify that the circuit can actually handle that load and it's not just a false reading. Now, you're also going to want a voltmeter, digital voltmeter. That way we can read our voltages and possibly measure some resistance. And then we may end up needing some pressure gauges to read the pressure on the AC lines on the AC system. So real quick, we'll go over what all we've got on this AC system just so you have a little bit of a better idea. Right here, we've got our control assembly. So this is going to be inside the cab. This is how you turn AC on off. We've got an AC clutch cycling pressure switch. This is going to be the switch that kicks the AC system off when it's got too little pressure, and it's also going to be what helps control kicking the clutch on and off throughout time because you don't want your clutch just to continuously run. Then we're going to go to AC pressure cutoff switch. This switch should shut the compressor off if it sees too much. Yeah, so right here opens at 460 to 490 psi. So if this switch sees anything over 460 psi, it's going to open, cutting the compressor off to prevent doing any damage. We'll follow the trail on over. It goes to your wide open throttle relay. Now, what this relay does, whenever your engine computer sees a wide open throttle response or it sees, say a heavy engine load, it's going to turn this relay on, which will shut down the AC compressor. That way, you're not pulling anything else from the engine because the engine's needing all the power it can get. So that's something we may end up looking at. And then, of course, you've got your AC clutch right here. So first things first, what I always like to do, turn your AC system on, have it full blast, whatever. Make sure if you've got an AC button, it's pressed. And then we're going to come out here to our AC compressor. I want to say on this truck, it's going to be on the top of the engine. So it should be easy to get to. May be wrong on that, but either way, find your AC compressor, and we're going to be looking for the plug on it that's got looks like a black and yellow wire and then a black wire. So you should have two wires going into this plug. Your black is going to be the ground, and your black and yellow is going to be the power supply. You want to go ahead with your test light and see if you've got power on this black and yellow. If you do, if it's lighting your test light up, go ahead and check and make sure you've got a ground on this black wire. Same way, just move your test light clip to the positive side of the battery and then touch the black wire and see if she lights up. Right off the bat, if it's doing that, I'm going to say you've more than likely got a problem with your AC clutch. Now, this could be a bad winding in it, or it could be there could be too much of an air gap and it's not allowing it to pull in. So to do that, if that is your scenario, we would probably want to measure resistance on the compressor where this connector goes between these two pins. You should probably have a couple of ohms resistance on your multimeter. If it's an open circuit, that means your winding's probably bad, and that's going to be your issue. Maybe not, might be. If that's the case and you're having trouble with your multimeter, let me know in the comment, and I'll go over that in the video. But I don't want to waste too much time making this video long if that's not going to be your scenario. So if we don't find that condition, if we don't find that we have power on this wire and ground on this wire and everything seems to be working, but the clutch isn't kicking in, then the next thing we're going to do, I like to start at the very beginning. We're going to go ahead and look. Shows right here, fuse 18 It's going to be a 15 amp mini fuse. Check that in your fuse box and make sure that that's good and it's got power on both sides of that fuse. If it does, then that's cool. We're going to move down here to our AC clutch cycling pressure switch. Now this should be back there on your accumulator or dryer, depending on how the system's set up. This should be on the low pressure side. We're going to want to check and see if we're getting power on either this purple wire or the red and yellow wire. If we're getting power on the red and yellow wire, and this is with your engine running, and this is with the AC system on, then this switch is good, or this switch is at least letting power through it. If you're getting power on the purple wire, but not the red and yellow wire, then this switch is either bad or it's not seeing enough pressure for it to come on. So if that's your scenario, we're going to want to hook gauges up and see how much pressure is on the AC system. Because with the car off, nothing going on, it's going to want to say at least 43 psi. So I'm going to say with everything off, you should probably have, depending on your temperature down there, 80-ish to 100 pounds or so, maybe. But either way, that's what we're looking for. Now, if you do not have power at all on this purple wire, but your fuse was good, then that means we've got a problem in this area. We would probably want to pull the AC heater control assembly and check this. Looks like maybe a white and purple wire. Check it for power coming into it. If it's got power coming into it, but you're not getting power coming out, then this AC heater control assembly is going to be your problem. I don't know if I've ever replaced one of those on a Ranger, so I mean it could be, but either way, like I said, let's follow the steps and make sure we get you the right part. So continuing on, say we've got power on this purple wire, say we've got power on the red and yellow wire. We're going to come down here to the AC pressure cutoff switch. This is going to be a safety switch. If it sees too much, opens at 460 to 490. So if this switch sees anything over 460 psi, it's going to open up, cutting the AC compressor off. So there again, check power at your red and yellow wire, and then you're going to want to check power at your, looks like maybe a dark green and orange wire. I'll double check that. If it's not right, I'll post it in the comments. And again, I know we just checked this red and yellow wire up here, but we're seeing a connector right here. So always double check your power on your wires, because we could have an issue between these two switches. And if you don't check that and you just say you don't have power here, you may think it's a faulty switch, when in reality it could be something else. Now if you are getting power on this red and yellow wire, but not the dark green and orange wire, again, either something's wrong with the switch or we've got way too much pressure on this system. I wouldn't think you'd have that much pressure, but it could happen. With it having that much pressure, the compressor would have had to at least run for a little bit. So again, pressure gauges would let us know on the high side if we've got that much pressure. We shouldn't. But if you don't and the switch isn't working, boom, replace the switch. That's your problem. Now we'll continue on. We're going to follow our dark green and orange wire. And it's going to come all the way over here to the wide open throttle relay. So again, this relay basically shuts the AC compressor down when the engine's under a load to help conserve power. And it's showing it's going to be in the fuse and relay box. We see our dark green and orange wire. It goes in the relay. It's normally going to be closed, sending power straight through to a black and yellow that goes to our compressor. Now, I don't know if there's going to be a good way to check this on the bottom of your fuse box, but if you know you're getting power coming out this AC switch, you could check pin 3, it looks like. Pull the relay out, check pin 3, and it should have power. If it doesn't, we've got an issue in this wiring between the switch and the relay. If you do have power here, then great. Let's put our relay back in and see if we hear it click or do anything wild. If we hear it click, then for whatever reason, the computer, the PCM, is opening that relay up when it shouldn't be, more than likely. If that's the case, you can take a paper clip or a piece of wire and jump from connector 3 to connector 4, and the AC compressor should come on. Everything else is working properly. If that works, then either you've got a bad relay or your PCM, for whatever reason, is telling that relay to open up. The PCM thinks you've got a wide open throttle situation. And that could be sensors or something else going on. Either way, if you have questions on a problem you find, let me know and I'll help you with that specific question. I'm just trying to keep this short and sweet. So that's how I pretty much diagnose it. By this time, we should have found the problem.